Breaking news coming straight from Washington. A groundbreaking proposal for a one-time $1,400 payment for all Social Security beneficiaries has just been announced, potentially bringing much-needed financial relief to millions of Americans across the country. Are you one of the millions of Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or VA beneficiaries who could receive this significant payment? Welcome back to this extremely important update. What I'm about to share with you today is not just another routine adjustment or minor policy change. This is potentially life-changing news that affects millions of Americans who rely on Social Security benefits. With the continuing effects of inflation and rising living costs hitting seniors and those on fixed incomes particularly hard, this proposal comes at a critical time when many are struggling to make ends meet. Today, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this potential $1,400 payment that could be coming your way, including who qualifies, when you might receive it, and what this means for your financial future. The Senior Citizens League, a nonpartisan organization that has been advocating for older Americans for decades, has officially proposed a one-time catch-up payment of $1,400 for all Social Security beneficiaries. This is not just a small adjustment. We're talking about a substantial payment that would be in addition to the regular cost of living adjustment. It would serve as a supplemental boost to help retirees and those on fixed incomes make ends meet amid rising inflation that has been eroding their purchasing power. Now, let me be crystal clear about what this payment is and what it is not. This is not the COLA increase that you receive each year. This is a separate, one-time payment designed to provide immediate relief. The Senior Citizens League has been very specific about this. They're calling it a catch-up payment or make-up payment because they believe that previous cost of living adjustments have not kept pace with the actual inflation experienced by seniors, particularly for healthcare, housing, and groceries. The proposal was officially published by the Senior Citizens League on July 15, 2025, but it has been gaining significant media attention since August 9, 2025, when major news outlets began reporting on it. The organization has been actively pushing for this payment, arguing that seniors need more because the COLA is simply not keeping up with the cost of living they face every day. So who exactly qualifies for this potential $1,400 payment? According to the proposal, all Social Security beneficiaries would be eligible, and this is where it gets really important for you to pay attention. This includes those receiving retirement benefits, SSI, SSDI, and potentially VA benefits. The Senior Citizens League specifically stated that they would be thrilled if everyone on Social Security could receive this special boost, not just retirees. Shannon Benton, the executive director of the Senior Citizens League, made it clear that while TSCL advocates specifically for seniors, the organization would be thrilled if everyone on Social Security could receive a special boost. This means if you currently receive any form of Social Security benefits, whether it's retirement, disability, or supplemental security income, you would likely qualify for this $1,400 payment if the proposal is approved by Congress and signed into law. While the proposal doesn't specify detailed eligibility criteria beyond being a Social Security beneficiary, it's important to note that this would likely be an automatic payment with no application required. The Senior Citizens League has suggested that the money could be provided to eligible recipients in the same way that the 2009 $250 economic recovery payments were distributed to Social Security and SSI recipients during the Great Recession. For those of you who might not remember or weren't receiving benefits back then, those payments were distributed automatically to everyone who was receiving Social Security or SSI benefits at the time. There was no need to apply, fill out forms, or provide additional information. The payment simply appeared in recipients' bank accounts or mailboxes, which is exactly how this proposed $1,400 payment would likely work. Now, let's talk about when this payment might arrive. While this is still just a proposal and hasn't been approved yet, we can look at the timeline and make some educated guesses based on how similar payments have been handled in the past. The Senior Citizens League published their recommendation on July 15, 2025, and it has been gaining media attention since August 9, 2025. If approved by Congress and signed into law, the payment could potentially be distributed within a few months, similar to how previous stimulus payments were rolled out. The funds would likely be sent via direct deposit, paper checks, or direct express cards, depending on how you currently receive your benefits. For those receiving direct deposit, the payment would likely arrive first, followed by those who receive paper checks or use direct express cards. The financial impact of this $1,400 payment would be significant for many beneficiaries. To put this amount in perspective, $1,400 is equivalent to more than one full month's worth of benefits for many Social Security recipients. For the approximately 7.3 million American seniors who get by on less than $1,000 a month, this payment would represent more than a month's additional income, a truly substantial boost that could make the difference between struggling and getting by. Based on previous similar payments, this would likely be considered tax-free income and would not count as income for determining eligibility for other federal or state assistance programs like Medicaid, SNAP, food stamps, or housing assistance for at least 12 months after receipt. This is crucial because it means receiving this payment would not jeopardize your other benefits. Additionally, this payment would have no effect on your Medicare premiums or coverage. One of the biggest concerns many seniors have is that any additional income might cause their Medicare Part B premiums to increase, but this payment would be structured to prevent that from happening. It's important to note that this payment would be separate from the annual COLA increase. For 2026, the COLA is currently projected to be 2.6%, which is only slightly higher than the 2025 COLA of 2.5%. While any increase is welcome, many seniors feel that these annual increases are not keeping up with the actual inflation they experience, especially for healthcare, housing, and groceries. To give you some context on why the COLA isn't keeping up, the Senior Citizens League has long argued that the metrics used to calculate the annual increase, the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index for Urban Wage Earners, CPIW, does not take into account the costs that elderly Americans are paying for things like medicine, housing, and groceries. They're advocating for a switch to the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, CPI, which is based upon the spending habits of the elderly and would help make COLA increases more proportional to the needs of those who depend on these benefits. A recent survey of nearly 2,000 Social Security beneficiaries conducted by the Senior Citizens League indicated that a fifth of respondents were spending more than $1,000 on healthcare costs alone. The vast majority, 96%, thought the Social Security Administration should base their COLA calculations on the CPI, which focuses on costs affecting Americans ages 62 and up. Many older Americans saw their Social Security buying power eroded during the recent inflation spike, and rising Medicare Part B premiums often wiped out their entire COLA increases. This is why the Senior Citizens League is advocating for this one-time catch-up payment, to help restore that lost value and provide urgently needed relief for retirees living on fixed incomes. This isn't the first time such a proposal has been made. Back in 2020, during his presidential campaign, Joe Biden proposed increasing monthly Social Security checks by $200 per month, which would amount to $2,400 annually. Take a look at what he said at the time. We should also increase monthly Social Security checks by $200 per month as proposed by Senator Wyden and colleagues. Seniors and people with disabilities are uniquely at risk right now. And it wasn't just talk. We actually saw legislation put out for this by Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. In May 2025, they reintroduced the Social Security Expansion Act, which would increase benefits by $2,400 a year. That's $200 a month, and eliminate taxes on benefits. This was a proposal that was released during the Biden administration, yet we did not see that come to fruition. But now we're hearing yet again from advocates who are saying, hey, do not forget those that collect Social Security, retirement, SSI, SSDI, all those that depend on these fixed incomes from Social Security. They need it to be there. They need to be able to rely on it, and it needs to be available for them. They emphasize that this is not an entitlement program, as is often called. They're saying this is an earned program. People have paid into this with their taxes their entire lives. Now, when it's time for them to draw, they need it to be there. They need it to be dependable. Now, let's address some common concerns you might have about this proposal. First and foremost, be aware of potential scams. Unfortunately, whenever there's news about potential payments, scammers come out of the woodwork trying to take advantage of vulnerable seniors. The SSA, IRS, or VA will never call, email, or text asking for personal information, fees, gift cards, wire transfers, cryptocurrency, or cash to release funds. Official communication will come through official mail or the official SSA, IRS, or VA websites. If you receive any suspicious communication, hang up immediately, block the number, and report the scam to the proper authorities. Remember, these agencies already have your information and do not need you to provide it again to receive a payment. Another concern is how this payment might affect the long-term solvency of the Social Security Trust Fund. While this is a valid concern, the Senior Citizens League has stated that this one-time payment would not significantly accelerate the depletion of the trust fund. Additionally, they are advocating for more permanent solutions, such as changing how the COLA is calculated to use the CPI instead of the current CPIW, which they believe would better reflect the actual costs seniors face. Looking at the broader context, this proposal comes at a time when many seniors are struggling with rising costs. The Senior Citizens League's research has found that approximately 7.3 million American seniors get by on less than $1,000 a month, which is below the federal poverty line. Additionally, 39% of beneficiaries depend on Social Security for 100% of their income. To put that in perspective, nearly 4 out of every 10 people receiving Social Security benefits have absolutely no other source of income. They rely entirely on those monthly checks to pay for housing, food, healthcare, and all other living expenses. When inflation rises and their buying power decreases, they have nowhere else to turn. The Senior Citizens League's executive director, Shannon Benton, has emphasized that this catch-up payment would help restore lost value and provide urgently needed relief for retirees living on fixed incomes. She pointed to previous economic impact payments provided during the coronavirus pandemic as evidence that specific financial assistance can and has been dispersed by the federal government amid times of economic uncertainty. In an email shared with media outlets, Benton suggested that the money could be provided to eligible recipients in the same way that the 2009 $250 economic recovery payments were doled out to Social Security and SSI recipients amid the Great Recession. A third of recipients ultimately used the money to pay off debt, the BLS later reported. She also pointed to the economic impact payments which were provided to eligible U.S. citizens during the coronavirus pandemic, those stimulus checks we all received, as evidence that specific financial assistance can and has been dispersed by the federal government amid times of economic uncertainty. So how much does the Senior Citizens League envision the payment to be? $1,400. Benton told media outlets. And while TSCL advocates specifically for seniors, Benton said the organization would be thrilled if everyone on Social Security could receive a special boost. So, not just retirement, but SSI, SSDI, all those collecting Social Security could benefit from this proposal. A representative for the Social Security Administration did not return a request for comments on this proposal, which isn't surprising given that it's still just a proposal and not an official policy yet. However, the fact that it's gaining media attention and being proposed by a well-respected advocacy group like the Senior Citizens League gives it credibility and increases the chances that it might be seriously considered by lawmakers. Make-up payments aside, the majority of seniors surveyed for the Senior Citizens League's recent report still believe that there are fundamental problems with how the Social Security Administration attempts to mitigate the effects of inflation when it comes to yearly benefit increases. If 4 in 5 seniors think inflation was higher than the government reported in 2024, maybe we should stop questioning their experiences and start questioning why the COLA is failing to measure them, Benton said at the time. And she has a point. When 80% of the people actually experiencing the costs say that the official inflation numbers don't match their reality, it's time to reconsider how we're measuring those costs. Now, let's take a look at the actual publication, the press release that came out from the Senior Citizens League, so you can see for yourself what they're saying. As the One Big Beautiful Bill passes, 2026 COLA predictions rise to 2.6%. The article says that the Senior Citizens League predicts Social Security's 2026 COLA will be about 2.6%, up from last month's prediction of 2.5%. The Senior Citizens League's model's prediction has increased for 5 consecutive months amid mounting inflationary pressures. This comes hot on the heels of Congress passing and President Trump's signing of the One Big Beautiful Bill. The new law will provide seniors who file their taxes individually and earn less than $75,000 a year with a $6,000 tax credit, and couples who earn $150,000 with a $12,000 credit. Higher earners will receive reduced tax credits. However, the Senior Citizens League argues that the One Big Beautiful Bill does not go far enough when it comes to providing relief for low-income seniors. Social Security benefits aren't counted as taxable income for about half of the beneficiaries, and many seniors' incomes are just too low to see any changes from this tax break. This comes as the Senior Citizens League's research has found that approximately 7.3 million American seniors get by on less than $1,000 a month. Here are some key insights from their report. As the Big Beautiful Bill passes, inflation continues to rise. With only 3 months remaining until the next COLA announcement, the Senior Citizens League's model predicts that the COLA will be only 0.1 percentage point higher than the 2025 COLA of 2.5%. Low-income seniors need additional relief. The Senior Citizens League's 2025 Seniors Survey report found that about 13% of seniors get by on less than $1,000 a month after taxes and deductions, which is less than the cost of a modest apartment in most cities. The research also found that 39% of beneficiaries depend on Social Security for 100% of their income. The Senior Citizens League's executive director, Shannon Bennon, said the Big Beautiful Bill is a good start on providing financial relief for American seniors. The next priority should be providing support for the estimated 7.3 million American seniors who are living on less than $1,000 per month, which is below the federal poverty line. And here it is. The Senior Citizens League's research shows that 93% of American seniors see Social Security and Medicare reform as a high priority for Congress and the President. They're calling on the administration to calculate COLAs with an index more representative of seniors' experiences and also provide a one-time catch-up payment to make up for historical COLA shortfalls. So there you have it. They are saying that this should be done. They should go ahead and provide that one-time payment of $1,400. And as we saw in an email response coming out after they provided this, they said it should be $1,400 to seniors. And they also made it clear that it should include SSI and SSDI recipients as well, not just those receiving retirement benefits. This has just been proposed. We're hearing that the Senior Citizens League is saying that this needs to be done, that the cost of living adjustment is not going to be enough. It's not going to keep up, and they need this one-time payment to go out to help make up for the shortfall. We've also had before, as I mentioned, proposed by Joe Biden during his administration, $200 per month. We saw the legislation released for it that would increase $2,400 a year. There have been proposals that have come out, but we will see if any of these come to fruition. But we're hearing the Senior Citizens League right now is pushing for this $1,400 one-time payment, and we're going to see whether or not it comes about. While this $1,400 payment proposal is significant, it's important to note that some states might offer additional supplemental payments. I recommend checking your state's social services websites for information about any state-specific benefits that might be available to you. Many states have recognized the challenges faced by seniors and those on fixed incomes and have implemented their own programs to provide additional support. Earlier this year, the Bureau of Labor Statistics also stopped collecting data for its indexes in 3 cities and reduced collection efforts in about 15% of 72 other metro areas, sparking concerns that the more limited data might be less reflective of the prices that seniors are paying. The BLS, however, claimed in July that its new practices did not result in any significant changes when compared to the previous methods. If the government fails to act and the CPI's data quality begins to erode, it increases the likelihood of the government providing a COLA that doesn't match inflation, the Senior Citizens League wrote at the time. This is yet another reason why they're advocating for this one-time catch-up payment, to help make up for the potential shortfall in COLA calculations. Now, let's talk about what you can do to support this proposal and stay informed about its progress. First and foremost, I strongly recommend creating or using the online My Social Security portal. This secure website allows you to track your benefits, manage your personal information, and stay informed about any changes that might affect you. It's also the best place to get accurate information about your benefits and any potential payments. Additionally, You can contact your elected representatives to express your support for this proposal. Let them know that you believe a one-time $1,400 catch-up payment for Social Security beneficiaries is necessary and would provide much-needed relief to millions of Americans struggling with rising costs. Your voice matters, and when enough people speak up, lawmakers listen. I also recommend staying informed by following reputable news sources and organizations like the Senior Citizens League that advocate for seniors' rights and benefits. They will be the first to know if this proposal gains traction in Congress or if there are any developments that could affect your benefits. In conclusion, this proposal for a one-time $1,400 payment to all Social Security beneficiaries represents a potential lifeline for millions of Americans struggling with rising costs. While it's still just a proposal and hasn't been approved yet, it shows that there is growing recognition of the need for additional support for seniors and those on fixed incomes. The Senior Citizens League has been advocating for seniors for decades, and their research clearly shows that many are struggling to make ends meet. With 39% of beneficiaries depending on Social Security for 100% of their income, and approximately 7.3 million American seniors getting by on less than $1,000 a month, it's clear that additional support is needed. This $1,400 payment would provide immediate relief to those who need it most, helping to cover rising costs for healthcare, housing, food, and other essentials. It would be distributed automatically to all Social Security beneficiaries, including those receiving retirement, SSI, and SSDI benefits, with no application required. If you want to stay updated on this proposal and other important Social Security news, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss important updates. I'll continue to monitor this proposal closely and provide updates as soon as more information becomes available. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with friends or family members who might also benefit from this information. Drop a comment below with any questions you still have about this proposal or your own experiences with trying to make ends meet on Social Security benefits. Your financial security is important, and I'm committed to bringing you the most accurate and up-to-date information to help you navigate these challenging times. Remember, you've earned these benefits through a lifetime of hard work, and you deserve to receive the support you need to live with dignity and security. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care and stay informed.